You are Locked On Cougs, your daily podcast on the Houston Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
From a pair of big-time future Cougars to an alumni himself, the entrepreneur looking to put Houston Cougar logos on everywhere you want to put them, I guess, in a different kind of way. Frederick of Section 12X. Frederick, I ask a weird, funky food question all the time. When it comes to tortillas and your tacos, you a flour guy or a corn guy?
I'm flour all the way.
Flour all the way.
Flour all the way.
One thing that's a little bit spicier, and that was my attempt at a segue, is your attempt to kind of take down a lot of the bigger brands, the rollbacks of the world and those kind of things, and help put Houston on caps like we've got on for the visual audience here. Polos coming soon, all at section12x.com. Tell me a little bit about the void you saw as a Cougar fan alumni and how you sought to fix that, because it's a fun brand with fun logos and branding that kind of takes you back to a more nostalgic time.
Yeah, it really started probably, I guess for me, probably about 2 years ago. And I started seeing some collegiate gear hit the market that wasn't really available to UH or even, the masses, college fan bases. So it was very select, very few colleges that had some of these brands or some of these polos or designs available to them, and maybe not to others. And then early last year, I started seeing even more of it expand to some of U of H's, I guess, similar schools out there, other Big 12s, some in the ACC. And I was like, man, why don't we have anything like this? Like, what's going on? What's happening with our licensing? Is there an issue there? Or is it, is it just the companies want to focus on specific brands only? And I was like, man, there's gotta be something here, right? And I started seeing more and more fans on Twitter, on the message board, just saying, "Where's our cool stuff? Like, what do we need to do to get some UH gear? High quality, really cool prints." And I was like, man, maybe there's something to this. Let's see what I can do here. And I've for a long time, probably the last 10 years, I've put together stupid memes, GIFs, or just really terrible Photoshop things, posted on Twitter or message boards. And that's how it kind of started. I just put together some really terrible Photoshop images of different prints and posted a couple online. And I really didn't think anything of it, but I was like, hey, we should have something like this. And got a lot of really good feedback, honestly. The people were like, hey, take my money. Where can I buy that? We need something like that. And I was like, well, that's some pretty good feedback. And then I put another few together and very similar feedback. And from there, I just kind of ran with it. And that's where I was like, you know what, maybe there's an actual opportunity here to address this gap that, some of these other bigger brands have for other schools that maybe they don't have for us. And I kind of alluded to it on my other video, but like literally it was just one thing after the other. And next thing you know, I'm opening up a business. But it's been a wild journey though. And to your point, we're wearing our first two caps right now. Appreciate the support there. But my goal really is to bring unique designs and patterns that even maybe some of the other big brands aren't going to bring out. Maybe they'll bring something out, but my goal is to elevate what they're going to do, and really bring that true UH sense to it. The hard work that goes into it. It's not just another label or another logo on a generic polo that any school can use. It's truly a UH polo design, UH hat design, with obviously our logos and whatnot on it. And so that's kind of what we're doing. We're just doing stuff that really hasn't been done in the market for U of H before, and things that have been done in the market. We're just going to elevate what other people have done.
Well, and over on Instagram, you're also going to be telling your own story here, so I don't mean to step on your toes. I will say, though, there were some heartstrings plucked when the palm trees popped up in the logo. You can't really see it from my headphones here, but the logo on the side of the hat has the palm tree sticking up, and I'm sure there'll be more on that and all that content. So make sure to go check out Section 12X on Instagram for all of that. But is there a reason it's? I mean, I like the old school again. For the folks that hadn't heard before, I'm a history teacher by day. That's kind of my jam. You lean into the old school logos, though. I've got the old school golf logo on my hat. You've got the marching cougar on yours. Is the thought that that's the angle you want to take with the whole brand, or what's the thought behind being old school early?
Yeah, so it was kind of funny. Someone actually asked me if I was trying to be another brand that does a lot of vintage logos. I was like, no, no, no. Like, I'm not trying to be just a vintage brand. But I think there was a huge gap with vintage logos with U of H, right? And so what we typically see is just the, I don't think I'm not wearing this one, but just the standard UH logo or the Houston or the Cougars in the script, and not a whole lot of vintage. And me personally, I love the vintage logos. I think they're really, really neat. And I wanted to find a way to utilize those as much as possible. But that said, we will have just regular, current UH logos with some of the stuff we're launching here pretty shortly, mixed with some vintage. So we're going to try to do a little bit of both with everything that we do, and it's really all about what's the design that I'm trying to go for, and how does it look? Does it, if I can put together as 1,000 vintage prints and designs and they all look great, guess what? The fans are going to get 1,000 prints of vintage stuff. Or if it's just 1,000 like of the current ones, but it's elevated versus just like a solid red polo with our logo slapped on it. So like I'm trying to do some unique things there where it makes sense, but I always want to stay true to my roots of whatever I do, it's UH forward themed. So you'll get a good mix. Get a good mix.
You mentioned you went through the, I don't want to say the hoops and hurdles as if it's not appropriately, but all the things you had to do to get the licensing, right? Were the vintage logos more challenging? I would think that there's got to be some reason that other people aren't leaning into this because they do look really cool. And I think they're kind of striking that, baggy pants are back in. People are going back to things that look like the 90s and the 80s all over the place. Things come back. Were those harder to get, or are you just the only one out there getting it for people?
Can't really say, to be honest with you. I just know my experience, my conversation with U of H and the marketing team. I clearly showed them what my vision was for my brand, for the future, what I was looking to do for UH, and obviously generating revenue for them. And I will say not everything is licensable, right? So there are some things that we can use that we can't use. So it's really just kind of at sole discretion of what they have in their book right now, or what they're looking to do with their brand. So it's hard for me to say, is it more challenging or easier, than some other brands? But my experience with UH licensing has been great. They've been really great to work with, both Affinity and UH themselves. Just sharing ideas back and forth and seeing what's working. And honestly, I've had some designs rejected that I thought were really neat, that I got great feedback just initially, just on the design, but totally understand the reasoning by rejecting them. So it's not going to stop us. We're gonna continue pushing forward and utilizing what we can, and make sure we get some great content out there for you.
Yeah, when has a rejection ever stopped a Houston Cougar? So talk to me a little bit, Frederick, about, without giving the secrets away, giving the game away, because I know you're going to preview stuff on those Instagram videos and content you're pushing out on the 12X Instagram page. Polos, what is coming out this fall? Are we looking at like game day attire, tailgate attire? What are you going with?
Yeah, so we will be starting with 3 polos, and they're all completely different designs. So I don't want to give too much into that, but we will have 3 to start with.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
And I will caveat, supplies will be semi-limited. We are a brand new company, but so I'll say just make sure you're ready to click that button if you're interested in them, because I think the fans will really enjoy what we have. But that'll be the first launch here in August, and then as far as a pipeline goes, we will have more lined up for the fall. don't really want to give more into that, but let's just say it's more cooler weather stuff that we will have lined up.
All right. That's as hinty as hints can be dropped here. All right. Last question. And then remember, there's section12x.com for your gear, section12x on Instagram and Twitter. I still call it Twitter for all kind of information and updates. And they're going to be posting updated content videos on the Section 12X Instagram feed as well. Frederick, I wear the hat myself, get a lot of good comments and feedback on it. I had it on my display at Media Days. I've had people comment on those videos, and I've had people mention there at that day, like, oh, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Right? Section12x.com, section12x.com. That's all I'm saying, right? I saw Alan Bishop had a hat on today on Twitter. I didn't. Has there been a moment where someone had it on a cool moment as an, because this is not just a business for you, right? This is a passion project too. Has there been a cool moment where like, oh man, so and so likes my stuff?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's just all the feedback that I've received that, whether they're somebody affiliated with U of H, somebody just a fan, I mean, you name it. I mean, seeing orders come in from California all the way over to Maine. It's really neat to see that Cougar Nation really is nationwide. But yeah, just seeing a couple people affiliated with UH, whether it's on their radio show, obviously you support it really well, which is great. Over at the Veer, there's a lot of support there, and then just other people just kind of sharing their stories, sending me one-off messages or emails saying, they really appreciate the quality and the new take on some of our swag that we've got. So I think it's just the general embrace that the UH fan base has shown. It means a lot. I wasn't really sure, how these would do or really where this was going to go when I first launched it. So just hearing all the great feedback has been tremendous. So
keep the feedback rolling. Go to section12x.com. Grab your cap today with more things to get on the way. So make sure you check out 12x on your social media platforms as well. Frederick, thank you for stopping by, and go Cougs, man. Go Cougs.
Yeah, thanks. Go Cougs.